Times have changed, and we don't know how long it has been since the first time all this has happened. The skies have turned a blood red. What once was lush green grass was now replaced by pulsing flesh. It almost felt alive, squirming and writhing beneath me whenever I traveled. The air was pungent with a rotting smell, but most of us have grown to tune it out by now. Small Town was not the capital of friendship anymore. A couple of us have left our houses, having gathered as much as we could to protect ourselves from our own friends, who have somehow turned into these monstrous beasts. We don't know how all this happened. All we knew is that some sort of dark sickness had been spreading, and there'll be hell on Sprunki World if we don't resolve this as soon as possible. They already got Brud. He came to our base with a fourth of his head completely bitten off, and since then, it had grown teeth. As I brushed the sleeping FC's keyboard clean, I took a glance at what they were up to in the medical department. Veneria was mainly in charge of nursing the others, infected or not. Mr. Garnold, as far as I knew, did not know much about medicine, but he still offered a hand to help Brud's ailment. I watched as Veneria held his head, while Mr. Garnold used his strongest tweezers to extract the extra teeth out. But they kept growing. For every tooth pulled out, 3 or so more would grow in its place. At least Brud had a natural talent for pain tolerance, else I imagine he would have been kicking and screaming in agony. We don't really have anesthesia here, not after our access to the outside world had been blocked off. As if the Met couple described, it's as if the big city disappeared into thin air. The laboratory's gates opened. Everyone tensed up for a moment, before calming down the familiar sight of Funbot. Poor guy had gotten dented from all its outside work, seeing as it was one of the few resilient to whatever was taking over our friends' bodies. It came in and, without a word, plugged itself to the printer. It took a few minutes, but finally, the pictures were printed. "Danke, son," I heard Professor Clucker say, gathering the papers as he patted Funbot on the shoulder. He scrutinized them, adjusting his glasses as any smart scientist would. He seemed to hum and thought, squinting his eyes. "Is something wrong, Father?" "I just can't come up with a hypothesis as to what the correlation between the hostile infected Sprunkis may be. Not yet. Not with what we know now, but I know there's something in there." Funbot bowed its head. "I'll gather more evidence." No, Funbot. It's okay. You can rest for now." I watched as Funbot dejectedly sat down next to me and FC, its gaze distant. Hesitantly, I asked, "What was it like out there?" "Horrible," it said. "A wax wouldn't leave me alone for a good half hour." I made a face at that. I turned my head, watching as Professor Clucker pulled out his observation journal and tallied down what could probably be his notes on interesting things he found in the pictures. "How's Brud, honey? Veneria?" "He's, not flinching. Real impressive stuff, I gotta say, Bucket Boy." I watched as Brud seemed to furrow his brows at Mr. Garnold's words. I thought that maybe, just maybe, he didn't like what he said. For some reason, I don't know why he would be annoyed, though. I understand that sometimes people say things that they don't realize are somewhat upsetting. "Sorry that Simon bit you, Brud," I told him, trying to be polite. "Do you feel okay?" His face looked softer as his remaining eye looked at me. "Could be better," he admitted with a shrug, tilting his head so Veneria could heal him, or at least attempt to. I winced as I saw another tooth grow out from the spot Mr. Garnett just tweezed out. His face, already stained and pouring with blood, began to look messier. It's impressive how Brud doesn't flinch at all, but he doesn't seem to be feeling too well despite this. Veneria frowned as her healing spell didn't work, letting out a sigh. "It's no use, Professor," she muttered. "He just keeps growing more teeth."
Worrisome. Garnold, give me a sample."
He complies, giving him a few of Brud's extracted bloody teeth from the tray, all placed on a small dish. Professor Clucker wears his gloves before picking up one of them, squinting his eyes. The piece he picked up looked weird. It was a tooth, growing out from another tooth, which probably shouldn't even be possible. But then again, I'm not a doctor.
"And it was Simon who bit him, yes?" he inquired.
"Simon bit me," Brud answered, furrowing his brow.
"Yeah, Simon bit him,"
Mr. Garnett repeated. I saw Brud glare at him. Professor Clucker hummed.
"And from what I'm seeing thus far, Simon has also grown extra teeth since his transformation. It seems like whatever this may be, it could be contagious, likely via being bitten, considering how close contact with Brud seems to have done nothing to you thus far."
Veneria furrowed her brows, sighing. "Infection persists, Professor. Brud has only been growing more teeth since he got here." "You saying he could become a walking tooth freak like Simon?" Mr. Garnell exclaimed. "Scary!" I intervened. "But Brud is still gonna be our friend, no matter how many teeth he has. Just like how Simon is still our friend."
"That's not the Simon we know anymore, Gray."
Professor Clucker cut me off. I felt nervous, adjusting my seat a little. "Easy on Gray, hun," I heard Mr. Garnett say. "I'm sure he's still good old Simon. It's just, well, he's pretty out of it right now, you know. If we just find a cure to this weird old infection, he'll be right back to being the friendliest Sprunki."
"What we need is more research. After our break, we continue research."
I heard a rattle, and I turned my head. It was Funbot, shuddering. Being a part of the research team isn't an easy thing. You have to get close with your infected friends, and they aren't exactly very friendly anymore, if what happened to Brud is anything to go off of. I think Brud noticed it shaking too, because his eye was a little wide. I watched as he lifted his upper body off the testing platform he was laying down on, furrowing my brows at his bloody head. "Me can help," he said.
"Sorry?"
Professor Clucker lifted his head. "With research, me can help." "Brud," Veneria worriedly placed a paw on his shoulder. "You're not in a condition of help right now." "Well, why not? Me can still walk and talk, just one eye's busted." "Buddy!" Well, I can appreciate the enthusiasm, but seriously, you need to lie back down and get better before you do anything rash. Mr. Garnell looked like he was about to place a paw on Brud too, but Brud slapped him away. It surprised him. Surprised me too. "Ow! Think about it for just a moment, will ya?" he said. All you need a test dummy. And you all need to get more infos on the abnormalities. Well, what if me can use me tolerance to...
"For goodness sake, Brud! This isn't a game!"
Professor Clucker snapped back all of a sudden. Never said it was.
You're throwing yourself into danger like this is nothing.
He was looking straight into Brud's eyes now. I saw his fur stand on end. Brud's did too, his tail swishing in that angry way.
Yeah? Well, you send your own son out there like it's nothing. Me don't know why me can't join in. You seen how dented his metal skin is? I think you mean my shell, Funbot muttered. Same thing. Brud, listen to me, Professor blurted out. You think this is all just yet another shenanigan like usual, but it's not. We are in the midst of an apocalypse, which means high danger.
Brud suddenly got up from where he was sitting.
Me know that. Me know what's going on. Me ain't playing no more, he yelled.
I haven't heard him yell before, especially not this angrily.
You always do this, Professor. Me try to help and time again, you just always push me away. You think me don't notice? I don't need things to become more complicated because of your stupidity, Brud. You wanna say that again, you fucking stuck-up?
Quickly, I stood from my seat and hurried over to the two. I rushed between them, stopping Brud from throwing a punch at Professor Clucker's face. Mr. Garnett was quick to run over to his husband, too, holding him by his hands. Veneria got up as well, putting her arm in front of Brud, who was seething out of his mouth.
Whoa, none of that now, Garnett exclaimed. Who taught you that language? Shut your blabbing, Garnett, Brud hissed. You ain't no better. Watch your mouth.
Hey, enough, I tried to mutter out, as overwhelmed as I was from all the yelling. Let's just take a break from all this for now. Unwind before we continue. Veneria nodded with me. Gray's right. Now more than ever we need to stick together, like roots in the soil. I could make you all some tea to calm your nerves. Brud shuffed.
Save it, Vin. I'm leaving,
he spat. He nudged her arm away before hastily walking away from the rest of us, making his way for the gates.
Leaving? Are you crazy?
Clucker yelled, chasing after him.
You know what it's like out there? Abnormalities roaming about. You will, me, don't care.
Brud's ear was pinned back at its lowest now.
You know what? Fuck all of you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck this group. Me don't need you. What's the use of me? I'm just gonna sit around all miserable. And guess what, bastards? Me hate all of you. Just watch. Me will take them all down. You'll be sorry. You all be sorry. Fuck you.
I could only watch in horror as he unsealed the gates and fled.
Hey! Are we just gonna let him run out there? He's gone bananas, Mr. Garnett yelled.
Clucker shuffed, shaking his head.
It's no use fighting him. If he wants to leave, fine. He can leave. Whatever. He can suffer the consequences himself.
So he's just out of the league now? Just like that? Veneria asked.
Well, apparently, he wanted a death wish more than his own safety. If he really wanted to survive, he could have just listened. But no! Even in the midst of a crisis, he's still an utter scatterbrain.
I opened my mouth to protest, but I was quickly cut off.
Whatever. No use dwelling on that nonsense. Get me water, honey. I feel my temples throbbing. On it, hun.
That could have gone better. I made a note to myself to check on Brud later, see how he's doing. But for now, it's the Survivors League's allocated break time. Things were awkward and tense in the laboratory after that. Clucker had his glass of water, Veneria was left sitting at the testing table with no one to nurse, and Funbot was dreading the outdoors. Brud never came back after that. As for me, I'm still wondering if friendship will really persist in these devastating times. I truly hope so, but I'm only seeing doubt.